Oh. Welcome to Sports Ramble. My name is Joe Silek, joined tonight by Big D, Dennis Pond, and our host, Corbin Rush. Tonight we're talking all things college football playoffs after an electric weekend
Yes, sir.
of New Year's Eve football games.
Best
Electric understatement.
best semifinal, and it's not even close. Both games were the two best
Both
games
games.
we've ever had
All season.
at any point.
No, in the college football playoff.
Yeah.
I don't know. The Bama Tennessee game was also up there too. That was a good one. But again, for me, I'm always Tennessee biased because
I'm saying in the actual semifinals.
Yeah, by far the best two
semifinal games we've ever seen.
Those are the two best college football playoff games we've ever seen. Every other one has been a blowout.
Wrong.
Which one was better?
2019 national championship.
No. Games, they blew out both those teams. It wasn't even close. But anyway, all right, we'll hit those in a second because we got to touch on, my team real quick. Tennessee Volunteers.
Taking it to Clemson.
What happened? I had no idea that was going to happen. That was crazy.
What happened?
Because I was literally fully expecting us to go out there and just get.
I was told Cade Klubnik was a top-tier quarterback.
Well, according to the announcers, if y'all watch that game, they were absolutely on this guy's jock the entire game. They're like, Cade Klubnik, the next coming
on his meat.
It was ridiculous. I was like, what in the world are these guys doing? They will not shut up about Cade Klubnik. While in the meantime, Joe Milton is over here throwing oranges 250 yards in the air. Like, Joe Milton might have – he's the strongest arm I think I've ever seen in college.
It's just like a flick of the wrist for him, too. It's not even like a full throw.
He threw it 60 yards in the air on multiple occasions last night, and, like –
he didn't even step into it.
Didn't even step into it. He's just sitting in the pocket and just – and it's like, what in the world? Even on short routes, the ball flies
problem.
So
when
fast.
It's the short routes, that's where those big arms have a problem.
He's gonna have to learn how to
yesterday. Like it's like with TJ Finley at LSU. Yeah. Why are you throwing an 8-yard crosser at 200 miles an hour?
Yeah,
like there's no reason.
It's gonna be hard to pick him off on out routes, which is nice, but at the same time, his receivers are gonna have 18 broken fingers, an average of like 7 broken fingers a game. Like I don't understand. He doesn't have touch at all on short routes, but you watch him throw the ball on a short route, and I swear it's faster than the camera refresh rate. It's moving so quick. It's like skipping frames. I'm like, what is this guy doing? Guy's incredible. Insane. His arm talent is insane. It gives me a lot of hope for next year. I thought next year was going to be our dud year after the great year we've had this season. I think there's a lot of good things to look forward to. We get Brew McCoy back. We get Joe Milton. He's looking a little bit better. We get Small back. We got a good running back room. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. Clemson, I'm a little worried for them, but I think Cade Klubnik's gonna be good. He's better than DJ, for sure, in my opinion.
Tenfold, yes.
But I just had to splash on my boys, brag on them a little bit because that was awesome to watch. First major bowl win like in 25 years, absolutely incredible. So and we'll also just hit. And that's all I got to say about the Tennessee game. Joe Milton, just the blessed right arm.
A cannon.
The holy shock.
The holy shotgun of the Vols. He is the power T. The power T is his right arm. It just and then there it goes.
All right, let's get off his meat now. Let's move on to the next game.
Just feels good. Feels good to be a Tennessee fan again. We'll talk K-State, Alabama real quick. Bryce Young is the number 1 overall pick. The guy is
27 touchdowns on 8 passing attempts. Like
he's so good. He doesn't even have to have passing throws to
have passing touchdowns.
No. I had so much hope in the beginning of that game. Honestly, for K-State, I had so much hope.
Well, they started really well.
Yeah.
To their credit, I mean.
And then Bryce Young was like, "I'm playing a football game again." Oh, I thought we were just sleeping, and then he just
practice.
He was like, "Oh, I was taking a nap over there while I was in the pocket." So I guess I'll throw the football now.
What do you mean it's New Year's?
Exactly.
Bryce Young is incredible. The guy's pocket awareness.
You told me he declared for the draft.
Everyone's saying that was his goodbye game. Like he was saying goodbye to everybody on the sidelines. They said that was his farewell.
But it's not official.
I'm pretty
not
sure
official technically.
Technically not official. I'm pretty sure.
We'll wait until it's official before I make any comments.
Yeah, but the guy's
that's the smartest thing you
unbelievable.
can do.
If he doesn't declare, I think he's number 2 overall next year. But if he goes this year, he's the consensus. Caleb Williams is going to be number 1 in his draft class. Caleb Williams is the truth.
And that's a debate.
I don't know. It's if his attitude
That's not a
stays where
debate
it's
for
at.
today, but that's a debate.
We can have that debate on another podcast, even if Bryce Young does declare, because I'm pretty heavy on the Caleb Williams train. But just watching that game, Bryce Young has like a sixth sense. It's incredible watching that guy play quarterback. And he puts the ball.
It's on 105.
Like it's insane. He broke the ratings. And also his arm, like maybe not like the strongest arm you've ever seen, but the entire field, it's all in play. He can put the ball anywhere on the field away from any defender and any spot at any time. It's incredible. I don't know what they fed this guy. He's like, 5'8" and 116 pounds. Like, and I'm not even worried about him because he never gets hit because he knows where everybody is at all times on the field. It's incredible. So that's all I got to say. And also Deuce Vaughn, that little guy can run. I'll tell you what, 5'6" and legs of dynamite. The guy can get after it. That's all I got to say about the K-State Bama game. Dennis, Joe, y'all got anything to say about it?
That's all.
That's about it.
Okay. All right. Well, now that we've kind of covered those two because, we had to because this next two topics are going to run a bit.
It's time to eat crow now.
It is time to eat crow. I did not expect what happened yesterday to happen at all. That was the most shocking thing I think that I've ever seen in college football, besides like App State beating Michigan 12 years ago.
I'm not even mad about being so far off the block.
Oh no, I'm not.
This game. Well, so I'm not mad because I said the whole time, like, okay, I'm rooting for Michigan, but I won't be mad if TCU wins, right?
Exactly.
Like we all love Max Duggan. Like I want to see that guy do well.
Heisman Max.
The guy is incredible. I just go into the final score real quick.
But this is the real what happened though.
Oh, 100%.
I just want to go like we all had Michigan winning by like a minimum of like 3 scores in this game. TCU comes out. We were all like, TCU, Max Duggan looked scared. Joe, you said that.
He looked terrified.
He did.
I said those guys aren't going to be able to match up front, and they didn't.
And up front, they did not. Let's get that straight. First of all, they ran that 3-3-5, and Michigan's offensive line manhandled the 3 up front, but nobody was getting to the next level and blocking a linebacker. And those linebackers lit up the running game all night long.
TCU's linebackers came to play. It was incredible, but TCU wins the game 51-45. And I just don't even know where to begin with this. I guess we could start with the line there.
We start on the no call on that targeting.
Okay, well we can end on that.
I was gonna say let's save the
and that also doesn't seal the game either way.
Yeah, that wasn't as game breaking as some people think it was. It was still should have been called. It might have given Michigan another chance, but JJ McCarthy didn't look like he was ready to lead a game-winning drive. He wasn't making great decisions. Their whole team didn't look ready for that situation. But we'll come back to that. The line was dominated by Michigan in that game, which is the most surprising thing to me because on both sides of the ball, Max Duggan didn't have a lot of time to throw the ball. It wasn't like he was taking these big, deep shots and hitting Michigan over top. He just, every time that they got through, he's stuck in the pocket and does what Max Duggan has done all year and delivered the ball with like 8 guys. He comes off the field and he's just like pouring blood out of his arm. And like the guy looks like he's like broken in the face. Like, he has that look on his face and it's like, is this guy a deer in the headlights? And then he all of a sudden he throws a strike to a crossing round to Quentin Johnson, who just takes off striding down the field. Michigan dominated that game at the line of scrimmage. Every time I watched the game, I was like, JJ McCarthy had a total of like 24 seconds to throw in the pocket every time he dropped back.
Every snap.
And Max Duggan had no time, and they were getting 3 yards. Me and Dennis watched the game together. They were getting 3 yards of push almost every snap that they ran the play. Michigan was
the Michigan O-line,
and they could not figure out how to stop those linebackers from causing havoc, because they were getting 3 yards of push on the offensive line, and then the linebackers were hitting the running back 2 yards in the backfield. It was insane. TCU came to play. They showed up. What a performance by TCU. It gets me going, man. It gets me hyped. This is why I love college football. I've talked for a little bit too long here. Dennis, Joe, y'all got some things to say about this game?
I'll take it and say, what did I say? 4 scores was going to be the difference. I thought Michigan was going to dog walk them.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the second quarter, Michigan's down by 18 points. I was like, well, there goes that fucking projection. And like TCU just looked like everybody said, oh, they're not as physical as Michigan. Same thing we said. Like they're not gonna be able to compete up front. They're not as big. They're not as strong. They're not as aggressive. No, those. You know who won that game for TCU? Those linebackers.
Yeah.
Forget Max Duggan's 9 touchdown passes.
2.
Like, he was a joke. But those linebackers won that game for TCU, and they all 3 of them played out of their minds.
Yeah, those guys showed up to play. They were all over the field all game long, especially after J.J. McCarthy comes into his pregame, like, you know, they do their pregame interview. Yeah. And it's like, and he's sitting there like, if they try to run that 3-3-5, it's going to be a rough day for them. We're going to walk it right down their throats. And it's like, JJ, you threw 2 pick sixes.
Well, you have the opening snap, and it's what, a 70-yard carry?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was just like, oh, they're like, and I was like, oh, yep, there it goes. That's the game right there.
Me and Dennis were literally on the phone, and we said, well, that's the game. I think I sent a text in our group chat, and I was like, well, this one's over after the first half.
That's all she wrote right there, 70-yard run.
The smoke ain't even cleared yet.
Nope.
And they held them there, and they just came down and scored. 2 pick sixes by J.J. McCarthy.
Gosh. The goal line fumble, I mean.
And to be fair, honestly, that should have been a touchdown.
That was one of the controversial. That was the game-changing controversial call, I think.
That should have been a touchdown.
Do you guys want to talk about that for a second? Or, Joe, do you want to break down this game real quick?
No,
I mean, I was just – all I got to say about this game is, like, we were completely wrong. TCU, like, Michigan, I think, actually thought this was a little bit – they were going into this too comfortable. They didn't think –
They wrote them off. They wrote them off. TCU didn't write back.
TCU didn't write back. Exactly. Insane performance from Max Duggan, Quentin Johnson. That TCU defense playing better than they've played all year, I think.
Yeah.
Easily.
To be honest. Easily.
Even though they gave up 45 points, it wasn't like
against Michigan, like that's okay.
Yeah. That was the domination of the line.
They were picking apart McCarthy in the air.
Yeah.
I mean, what more can you say? Like they played 4 quarters of fantastic football. That's all you can say about this. I'm excited to see what they can possibly do against Georgia. But let's talk about this fumble.
Yeah, let's talk about the events
that whole sequence.
Leading
let's talk about that whole sequence, right?
So TCU picks TCU. Well, this goes back even further. Yeah, TCU throws a pick to Michigan, who catches it on the
first play of that Michigan drive.
They were spotted 4 yards back from where he caught the interception. That was the big thing. Michigan caught the interception on TCU's 48, and they marked him at Michigan's 48. So they marked him 4 yards back, and then they throw that long pass to the goal line, and they say he's down at the 1. He was still in the end zone, he bobbled it and then caught it in the end zone. I don't know how they marked him down at the 1.
It's in the end zone. It should have been a touchdown.
It should have been, but you give them those 4 yards from where they marked them 4 yards back on the interception.
And they're halfway into the end zone on the catch.
Yeah, you don't even have this discussion. So me and Dennis were talking about this yesterday as well. Are the SEC refs just that bad? And we're just so used to watching them year round that we just let this slide.
Bad referee.
We just let this slide. Like, this is why Alabama wins championships every year, man, because the SEC refs, like, clearly have no idea what they're doing. But
I mean, there's a ton of woulda, shoulda, coulda to talk about in that game. But
that game, that play specifically, that's a touchdown. Mm-hmm. That gives Michigan an extra at least 6 points, right?
Yeah.
And they don't fumble there. Correct me if I'm wrong, TCU scored on the following drive. After fumble in the end zone.
Mm-hmm.
So
7-point swing, that's the game right there.
That's a 14-point swing right there.
Yeah.
I've got nothing
They
to
still
say.
were able to drive 99 yards. I mean,
except they need to do better. That's what I have to say.
Yeah, that was pretty embarrassing by the referees at that game. I don't understand what they were looking at. Like, if you look at it from the front angle, his knee did hit when he had the ball at the 1 yard line, but he bobbled it.
But he bobbled it.
And why would you?
He wasn't sure until he was in the end zone.
Exactly. So how do they? When have they ever counted it as before pre-bobble? Like I've never even heard of a rule.
Never.
I don't understand where that came from. I'm not mad that it happened because I wanted to see TCU upset Michigan as much as I chose Michigan to win this game. But that there's no way that was not a touchdown. And even if you take away, so you take away 7 from TCU and add the 7 to Michigan, I mean, even if you don't take away the 7 from TCU and Michigan scores there, TCU scores in their next drive, that's still Michigan winning the football game.
Yeah.
So that completely changed the outcome. I mean, I don't want to say it completely changed the outcome because you don't know how TCU would have responded. But it's just
that it was so early in the game that it's like you can't.
We also have to think like so momentum's starting to swing Michigan's way. They get the pick, they throw this bomb for a touchdown. Does TCU even at that point are they able to like get it together to score like for the next 2 or 3 drives?
Yeah. I don't know. It's just
I know it's a lot of hypotheticals, but like that call changed the game.
It leaves too much open. Sorry, Joe.
I'm so impressed though by like just TCU being able to come out after halftime. The Michigan closed that lead pretty well to 21-16, the 5-point game. And then TCU just started pounding in the third quarter. And then you see the shootout in the third quarter, just touchdown, back and forth, right?
Most points in a quarter in college football playoff.
44
points.
44.
In the third quarter?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. 15 minutes of football.
Yeah. Go ahead, Joe. Continue.
It's mind-blowing how TCU was able to keep up with Michigan in this when everyone thought they were going to fall behind. They weren't going to be as physical. They weren't going to be able to get – like we saw them earlier in the game have a long drive. And we were worried a little bit, right? Maybe Michigan's going to be able to just make these big chunk plays. And that was the big thing TCU was worried about going in this game is these chunk plays that they were striving on all season about, these 20, 30-yard plays that would win them games. And then they were worried about being able to do that against Michigan's defense, which is so powerful and so dominant. They didn't seem to have a problem.
Yeah.
And it's mind-blowing.
Well, I do know that, so I'll just go the stat lines real quick, and then we'll kind of break down, what each position was able to accomplish. But I want to start with the receivers because I think this guy absolutely skyrocketed his draft stock. Quentin Johnson, 6 receptions, 163 yards, and a tutty, and his touchdown was on an unbelievable play. He didn't have
Max Duggan's getting sacked. He lets the ball go on the little 6-yard crosser.
Hits him with a little, and then Quentin Johnson is out of there, gone. So
no one back there all the way.
And this guy, he's 6'3", 6'4", 215 pounds, and he runs a 4.40.
Like a DK.
Yeah, he was running away from people. Small DBs running away from everybody. When he hits his top gear, that guy's gone. He's impressive, man. Watching that game, watching him battle with those Michigan cornerbacks, those DBs, because Michigan has talent, all over the field, more than TCU does. Michigan has more talent than TCU. Quentin Johnson showed up to play, man. He was balling out, and it doesn't. I mean, stat line not crazy, only 163 is pretty crazy on 6 receptions. Yeah, but only 1 touchdown. But I mean, he's just I think in my mind, if I'm an NFL organization, I'm that guy could be my jump ball, my big wide receiver 1.
Your Jamar Chase, your DK Metcalf, those kinds of guys.
He definitely has wide receiver 1 potential in the NFL, in my opinion, just from watching him.
And I mean, hey, if you go back to the last podcast, who did I say was going to be one of the top 5 picks? So I'm going to say.
Do we think what, Joe?
Do we think that maybe Max Duggan and Quentin Johnson we could see maybe in the NFL together on the same team?
I think Max Duggan is playing himself into a higher draft pick as well. I think he's going to
a higher draft pick. I don't know that he's an NFL starter though. As much as I love Heisman Max, he's a college quarterback.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, he's got some zing on his ball though. He throws a pretty ball.
He does. I'm not, and that's not a knock on him. It's just based on the facts, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, not everybody that has great success in college has success in the NFL. You have Heisman winners that go to the NFL and flame out.
Yeah.
Like, and to me, like Max Duggan is a super good college quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
I would love for him to do well in the NFL. I'm not like trying to write him off.
Yeah.
But like realistically, he thrives on those broken plays, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
In the NFL, it's hard to thrive on those broken plays because you're playing with the best.
You have to be excellent at normal in the NFL.
Yeah. You can't rely on the broken plays.
Yeah. I mean, that's why Kyler Murray gets injured so much. I see him as I see him as like a Jalen Hurts type of deal. Like he has potential, but he's not going to be
the athlete Jalen Hurts is. Though.
He's not the athlete Jalen Hurts is. I think he has a better arm coming out of college than Jalen Hurts did, but
I think he's a similar drive to what Jalen Hurts has.
Yeah, I think he's going to be a second, third round guy. I think he's going to be a project, and it's all going to depend on what he's going to put into it and fix.
Yeah, he's great. He's got great leadership, like
all the intangibles.
Unseen leadership.
Yeah, all the intangibles are there. The grit, the toughness, but it Dennis, I think you're spot on here because I'll read Max Duggan and JJ McCarthy's line for this game. Even though Max Duggan played an amazing game and like you could tell he's out there giving 110%, he goes 14 of 29 for 225, 2 touchdowns with 2 picks. So like,
and like that's great in college. Like that'll win you games.
Yeah.
In the NFL, like if you're gonna be not like
you can't throw under
like the game winners, right? Who like put up these crazy stats like Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen. And then you got game managers too, who have like a great team around them and they just don't lose you games.
Yeah.
Like that's not quite at game manager level.
Right.
Like the game managers are like 2 touchdowns, but they're shooting like 75%.
Yeah. They're making good decisions.
Yeah, 40 less than 50% completion percentage is kind of scary because he's done that more on
that's what I'm getting at. Like if you're the big play guy, you can have those games where you're only throwing for 40%, but you have 4 touchdowns on that 40% because you're just throwing the ball so much. You like the numbers just don't reflect how good of a game you played.
Right.
And
I'd agree with that.
Those are that's game manager stats without the game manager completion percentage, which in the NFL doesn't translate.
Right. And then we have JJ McCarthy who goes 20 of 34, 343 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. So like JJ McCarthy played a good game. Besides the 2 picks that were
turned into pick 6.
Not just picks, pick 6s.
That's what I think that's what lost them that game.
Absolutely. It is.
You can't throw 2 pick 6s and win. Like
that changed the game. 1 pick 6. If he only throws 1 of those, Michigan wins the game. He throws 2, Michigan loses because of that. I mean it's reflected in the final score. I mean, but again, should we talk about the real problem with JJ McCarthy? The real issue with JJ McCarthy. His girlfriend is now America's sweetheart.
Oh my God.
No, we'll move on from that. But no, JJ McCarthy, he really
I'm gonna marry that girl, I'll tell you what.
I think we all do as a nation. No, JJ McCarthy really didn't play bad, but he also cost him the game. And after all the talk he did before the game, it's just like, come on, man. Like
even during the game.
And after the game.
Yeah. It's just he said one thing after the game, then stormed out of the walked out of the press conference.
He finished his point and left.
He said we'll be back, and then he dropped the mic and left. I'm okay with that.
He did. Yeah, I didn't have a problem with it. It just like with his voice and the way his face looks, it's like he doesn't.
How he looks like 12 years old.
Yeah, it's like, come on, guy. Like you don't look like when it seemed to me that he was trying to have a Tim Tebow moment. You know, where Tim Tebow.
No, he was. That's exactly what it was. It was a Tim Tebow moment.
He was like,
we'll be back.
You will never see another player push his team as hard as I will. And it's like, JJ, no offense, man, but like,
y'all just lost.
Tim Tebow. Well, so did Tim Tebow when he made that speech. But like, no offense, JJ, but Tim Tebow was maybe the greatest leader of our generation of any football player I've ever seen. Like,
in college,
he galvanized.
We could honestly talk about that Florida team. I mean,
Yeah, that needs to be. That might be a whole podcast one of these days talking about that Florida.
Break down the Florida team.
I need that documentary to come out.
Yeah, that's gonna be quite the time. But I did see something interesting. I didn't realize because I thought Michigan pretty handily held the line of scrimmage, but you look at the rushing stats, and that's like not reflected here because TCU's running back had 17 carries for 150 yards and a touchdown.
Well, he had that one like 99-yard touchdown or run. It seemed like, you know what I mean?
He did, yeah. He had a couple like 10-yarders, 10 breakaways, but it just seemed like for the most part there was no time. Max Duggan had no time, and like.
But that was the thing when Michigan brought the house, Duggan could get that ball off to anybody he could find, and they'd have no one like touchdown, like run it for 80 yards. There's no one home.
Yeah, that's why it's reflected so much in his passing stat too, because when they didn't bring the house, it's hard for you to find somebody when you don't have time and they have 7, 6, 7, 8 guys in coverage. So, but no, that was crazy. Hats off to TCU. What an amazing game. Before we obviously have to. It does. It was amazing. I was sitting there screaming for TCU to win the game. Me and Dennis are over there. Like Dennis is a Michigan fan, so he was a little heartbroken. He was yelling that it was targeting,
but like I said,
what we're gonna get to right now.
Okay, I was rooting for Michigan, but I was not upset that TCU won.
No one's upset that TCU won. What an incredible story. Max Duggan from heart surgery or in like
5 months before the season.
5 months ago.
Yeah, like to going undefeated in the regular season, having 4 ranked wins in 1 month against in the Big 12, and then undefeated regular season, losing
Big 12.
Well, they beat Michigan.
Oh,
so, but then they
are they going to beat Georgia?
Lose to K-State in the Big 12 championship, and then come out here and from the go looked Michigan in their face and punched them in the forehead, like just and didn't let up.
And they did.
Did not let up. It was an incredible game. What an incredible game. There is one call that we need to talk about. Real quick, and that is the
targeting. The no call.
The no call. Definitely targeting. I don't think it changes the outcome of the game, but
I don't know that you can say that.
That it changes the outcome or doesn't change the outcome.
I don't know you can say it doesn't change the outcome.
Well, it wouldn't have immediately changed the outcome. It wasn't like there was I just don't think it would have immediately changed the outcome. Like TCU
didn't look ready
to stop.
Yeah, Michigan didn't look ready to go down and win that game.
Okay, but how many times in that game did you see JJ McCarthy strap the backpack on, tighten that shit up, and he fucking made it happen,
and then throw it to the other team for their touchdown?
No, I'm saying like when he needed to. Yeah, okay,
he did. He put his team on his back and all that.
He did.
I'm saying like you give him 30 seconds and a 15-yard penalty. Who knows?
Who knows? I mean, it should have been called. They reviewed it for a reason.
You know what it was? And I'm going to get this whole podcast going to get freaking Raw getting arrested for this.
Oh, please don't.
Please stop.
Vegas called during the review and said, nah, you can't give JJ McCarthy the ball back.
Too much
money.
We're
going to lose too much fucking money.
Everyone bet Michigan money line. I guarantee you everyone bet Michigan money line. So
it's a smart play.
Yeah. But all right, I don't think it changed the outcome. I definitely think it should have been called, but we'll leave it at that. It's to be determined. We'll never know. We're going to move on to the Ohio State Georgia game. Whoa. We did say it was going to be close. We weren't so far off the mark this one. We did say it was going to be close, but I had no idea that it was going to be this close. Like, that was crazy. And I wish you guys could see the text messages I'm getting on my phone right now for the listeners out there. This is unbelievable what is going on behind my back with these two. But Georgia looked scared, and Ohio State came to play.
So. You ain't kidding, dude. Ohio State, damn. I wanted them to win that game so freaking bad, just for the storylines.
Yeah, me and Joe aren't friends for the foreseeable future because he decided to cheer for Ohio State for some unknown reason.
No, during
for the
game,
story. It was for the
during
story.
The game, I was cheering for Ohio State.
I know. I was really getting mad at both y'all because
I'm about to climb through FaceTime and beat my ass.
Like it was getting hostile on FaceTime between me and Dennis because I don't understand. I hate Ohio State, and I couldn't tell you why. I have no reason why.
I can't stand Ohio State.
I hate Ohio State, and I am so glad they lost. But man, we got to talk about this guy because this was the guy that like impressed me more than anybody else on the field that night. CJ Stroud showed me more than I ever thought I would see from him. If you're the Seahawks, you're taking that guy at number 3 after that performance.
You are.
What incredible against the number 1 defense where Hendon Hooker couldn't even score more than 14 points. And I was like, oh, Georgia's going to come out here and dog walk them.
Mm-hmm.
In my head, I was thinking that, that's what I wanted to see. Ohio State punched them in the mouth, man, from the start.
And I said
if Ohio State came out hot and Georgia came out flat, this has potential to be a really good game.
That's exactly
what happened. I don't know what was going through Georgia's head before this game. They looked flat. They didn't look ready to play. CJ Stroud, 23 of 34 for 348 yards and 4 tutties. Balled out. Absolutely balled out. And got it done on with his legs. We hadn't seen that before.
Against the Georgia defense. The best in the nation for the last 104 weeks.
And I'll be honest, if Marvin Harrison Jr. doesn't get hurt, I think Ohio State wins this game.
Well,
he was working Kelly
Ohio
Ringo.
State should have won this game either way, but yes,
they should have won the game regardless. Again, during the timeout, Vegas called up, said, "Hey, y'all better miss this fucking field goal, or it's your heads." So
yeah, but no, Ohio State should have won that game. That should have been targeting on the hit against Marvin Harrison Jr., who was working Kelly Ringo.
Exposed
him. Marvin Harrison Jr. is that guy. He is
absolutely unquestionable.
His route running,
and they're saying Ringo is the best corner in the country.
I know that was what
exposed him,
and it was not even close. Every one-on-one, they lined up on the play that Marvin Harrison got hurt. They lined up one-on-one on the outside, and then they got pressure on CJ Stroud, so that's why he had to throw it up in the air. I'm pretty sure Kelly Ringo worked him in that one, or not Kelly Ringo. I'm pretty sure Marvin Harrison Jr. worked Kelly Ringo in that one-on-one too. It was bad look for Kelly Ringo, in my opinion. I just don't think he looked like the guy they had touted him to be, especially going up against a guy who's gonna be that was NFL talent at the wide receiver position.
He's already NFL talent.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. And we might have overvalued him a little bit because the talent is so deep in the NFL at wide receiver, but Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to be a top 10 receiver, maybe top 5 receiver within his first 3 years in the NFL. The guy
will be a number 1 target somewhere his first year.
Yeah. He's a top 5 draft pick.
Yeah, I think so. I really do. The guy's unbelievable. And honestly, Ohio State missing JSN, who is arguably as good, if not better, than Marvin Harrison Jr. right now. And Tolliver got hurt and the first series, popped his hip out. Ohio State had every opportunity to win this game. And they
literally down to the last minute.
And Georgia, you got a 70-year-old quarterback. So, he's been around the block. He knows what's going on.
I really didn't think he played exceptionally well either.
He was 23 of 34 for they both were 23 of 34. That's crazy. He was 23 of 34 for 398 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 1 pick. Well, and I think that pick was a pick 6.
I don't know what I'm talking about.
Was that a pick 6? It wasn't?
No.
Okay. But I just
might have been a big run back. But
that was against Bama. That's what I'm thinking of. He threw that pick 6 against Bama 2 years ago, last year in the SEC.
Ohio State played better football than Georgia up until the 4th quarter.
Yeah.
I think so.
100%. 100%. I talked a lot. What you guys have got your thoughts on the Ohio State Georgia game?
Biggest takeaway for me is I'm changing my top 5 draft picks. CJ Stroud is in there. I want him in Seattle. He's that guy. He steps up when the pressure is really on. He can do it. So that's my biggest takeaway is I saw CJ Stroud play his heart out.
100%.
And I don't feel bad for the guy. Like he lost the game twice to Michigan in his 2 years as a starter.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Played his absolute heart out in that semifinal and couldn't get the win. Like I feel bad for him.
Yeah.
No, I think game was a great game to watch. Like could not ask for a better Chick-fil-A bowl, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it comes down to a kick. Ohio State kicker. Was the hold bad? I honestly haven't looked into much in this. After the game, I got so pissed off. Was the hold bad? Was the snap bad? What the fuck
hold
happened?
Was bad. Hold was bad.
Because that wasn't even close.
Nah.
Like that looks like you haven't had a practice swing yet and you're up on the first tee box trying to hit your breakfast ball into the woods. Like what just happened? He hooked that ball so bad. And if it was a bad snap, a bad hold, okay, I get it. But it wasn't even close. And it let down everyone's heart that was rooting for Ohio State in this game. Because I really wanted to see a 3-4 seed championship game. That would have been fucking awesome.
How about the seeding, man? I mean, just like excellent by the College Football Playoff Committee. Yeah. Like, great job by them. Those were the right 4 teams. I don't care what Bama did to K-State. Those were the 4 right teams that needed.
I don't care what USC did leading up to it. Like, those are the right 4 teams.
100%.
We've been giving them crap all season long, and now it's like, oh, you guys got something right. Good job.
Well, that's like the thing to do, right? Is to give the CFP committee, like, give them shit.
Have to. You have to.
You have to.
Yeah.
But so I think we're going to take a little bit of a break here, and we're going to come back because I kind of want to do our breakdown of Georgia TCU. You guys think it's too early, or do you guys want to?
Maybe a real quick little
snippet of it. All right, we're going to take a little break. We'll be back. We'll do about 5 minutes on TCU, Georgia, and then we'll end this pod. All right, see y'all in a minute. Y'all won't see it because it'll be edited out, but okay. Welcome back to Sports Ramble. After our little break, we're going to just hit on our Georgia TCU kind of initial impressions for this game. Never expected TCU to be here. Georgia's defense looks like they could be exposed. TCU's offense looked dynamic against an elite defense like Michigan's.
Hold on. Before we get diving in, didn't Dennis say last podcast, like, could you imagine if TCU goes up against the Georgia Bulldogs in the national championship? Can you imagine how lopsided that's going to be?
He said, I'm not even going to watch that game. Dennis, are you going to now watch that game after what TCU did to Michigan?
I'm going to watch the game. To answer your question, I'll watch the game.
Yeah. I think it's going to be after watching.
Do I think TCU has a chance? No, I think Georgia is angry now after how they showed. They still won the game, and they're still going to come out pissed.
Yeah.
And I love Heisman Max. I love the Horned Frog. Max got that frog in him. You know what I'm saying?
Hypnotoad.
He's got that frog in him.
He's got that frog in. But that Georgia defense, they were just embarrassed last night.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, disgraced on national television. They're not going to let that slide.
I feel bad for what TCU is about to receive from Georgia. I think they have a puncher's chance. We all said they wouldn't have a chance if they go up against Georgia. I think TCU has a puncher's chance after watching what they did to Michigan.
Puncher's chance.
Puncher's chance. I was thinking no chance. TCU might be the team of destiny this year.
If this game is close at halftime, if that game is close at halftime, then I don't see TCU ever coming back against Georgia by more of a 2-touchdown deficit. I don't see it happen. Even if it's close at halftime, we'll have a damn good second half. Maybe a shootout in the third quarter again, and we'll see what happens.
You take that deal? I'd take that deal.
That's a damn good deal.
I agree, Joe. I don't know that TCU could come back. They'd have to get out to a fast start, and they'd have to stay ahead. That's the only way they have a chance. I don't think Georgia defense gives up 51 points to TCU. And I don't think TCU is going to be able – TCU's offensive line and defensive line – because, I mean, the rushing stats are a little bit surprising, but I'll be honest. We watched that game, and I'm telling you, me and Dennis, every time we were like, holy crap, Michigan is moving TCU around. Georgia's better at the line than Michigan, especially on their defensive line.
And Kirby Smart God, as much as I hate Kirby Smart, maybe he's a better coach than Harbaugh. And I think he'll figure out how to deal with those linebackers. I think his players can deal with the linebackers and actually block up to the next level. What was I saying the whole game yesterday, Corbin? Those linemen, okay, yes, they're getting 3 to 5 yards of push on every fucking running play.
But they're not
touching that second level.
Yeah.
Georgia is going to touch that second level.
Yeah. I know we wanted to wrap it up after the TCU Georgia breakdown. Joe, I want to hear your Georgia TCU pick, and then I'm going to say something controversial. So,
I mean, I just don't. You know what? I'm not going to get embarrassed again. TCU by 3.
Stop giving takes.
TCU by 3.
I can't give
TCU
takes.
by 3. Why not?
I can't.
If I'm going to be wrong, I might as well be happy and wrong.
Yeah. Dude, if I will not be upset if TCU wins. I'll say that. I'm not going to be mad.
I want TCU to win now.
Yeah.
I'm buying a Max Duggan t-shirt. Like,
I'm buying Max Duggan's NFL jersey. I'm going to buy.
I'm buying. If TCU wins, I will get Max Duggan tattooed on my ass cheek.
Hold on. Are you sure you want to commit to that?
This is a podcast promise. You can't break those.
I'll do it.
You're making a potty promise?
Max Duggan.
Potty promise.
Oh! Let's go. We got Dennis on the potty promise.
I think Corbin's camera just broke.
Max Duggan goes on the left ass cheek. No, I'm going to do like a little Mount Rushmore. It's going to have like Max Duggan, Joe Burrow, like.
And then some more space to go forward.
Exactly.
But all right, so to my controversial thing real quick, and then we'll end it off here. Are Ryan Day or Jim Harbaugh on the hot seat?
Ryan Day is.
Yeah.
Jim or Harbaugh? No.
Is it Jim or John? I get them confused, man.
I think it's Jim. John?
Jim?
We think?
I think John. Dude, we did this for like 4 podcasts. We said the wrong Harbaugh. For like 4 of them in a row, we were talking about the wrong one. And like I never remember which one it is because they look the same too. It's not like they look any different.
Yeah, it's Jim. It's Jim.
It is Jim. Yeah. We used to say John. We used to say John on here all the time. But anyway, that's besides the point. But
they're twins. They're twins. It's easily confusing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They look the same. Who names both their twins with the first name J that start with the same letter? Who decided that was a good idea? And it's like they're the same name, Jim and John. I call a guy named John Jim all the time. It's old Jim. His real name's John. But anyways, besides the point,
I think Ryan Day.
ADHD got me that time.
Jim Harbaugh, he's not.
No.
He was brought in he was brought in specifically to beat Ohio State. Because it was 8 years in a row.
Let's not forget, before Jim Harbaugh got there, Michigan was not a good program.
No.
They were very bad.
Ohio State has always been good. And now you've got 2 consecutive losses to Michigan, one at the shoe, right?
Mm-hmm.
You've got, before that, you lost to Alabama, and this season you only played 5 games before the national championship. You shouldn't have been in that national championship to begin with.
Yeah.
And then you lost in that national championship. The year before that, you got beat by Clemson, who got smoked by LSU in the Natty. I think they might be out.
I think it's definitely a conversation Ohio State's going to have moving forward. I hope he doesn't get fired. I think he's a good guy. I like him.
I think he's a good coach. I think give him another chance. I'm just saying I think he may be.
That's what's crazy about the level of success that Ohio State plays at, though. Is like you're going to fire a guy for maybe having 5 losses in the last 5 years.
Yeah.
Not even, right?
It's some insane number. And yet you're thinking about we're talking about him being on the hot seat because they haven't won a natty.
He is on the hot seat.
It's crazy.
Who's gonna fill that spot? We don't need to get speculating.
Who was Ryan Day before he was the head coach of OSU?
I honestly couldn't tell you. I don't know where.
I have no
idea.
You know
what? No, he was an assistant coach at OSU.
Yeah, he was behind.
You don't need to be like, oh, who's gonna take that spot? There's all these candidates. They'll find someone.
Yeah, I mean Ohio State's
power in those names. LSU is not traditionally a top 4 team, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they still get the recruits to allow them to compete at that level because of the name.
Yeah.
Ohio State will always get recruits because of the name.
Ohio State's the second biggest name in college football behind Alabama.
It is.
So
right now, yeah.
Right now, for now.
I mean, I think in general, like in the history of college football, Notre Dame's up there, but I think Alabama 1, Ohio State 2, and Notre Dame's like 3 or 4.
You got USC to deal with. I mean,
yeah. But Ohio State grabs.
But I get what you're saying.
Yeah. And Ohio State's going to find a good coach if Ryan Day does get fired. I don't think he should get fired. The guy's an incredible coach. I mean, but he's really struggled to win in big games. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. So we need Taco Bell.
No, so we can talk about that all day long too. About who's going where, what head coach is going on the chopping block.
I think we need to do a whole podcast about coaching jobs
in the off season for sure.
And I'm very excited for Thursday's breakdown of these NFL games because I think we learned a lot about the Eagles. So
much stuff happened today that I didn't even watch any games today, but
the college football was so good that we just didn't have time to talk about it. So
no,
but
we'll catch up next week.
We will. We'll 30-minute Thursday. We're gonna do a lot of NFL takes. I think is the plan. 30-minute Thursday. So if you guys want to check that out, check back in with us on. It's called 30-minute Thursday. We upload at 5 p.m. Eastern time Friday.
Right.
We're different. So get over it.
We're different. Yeah, it's
different.
So check back in with us Friday afternoon. We will see y'all then. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and thank you guys for joining us today. See you next time.